model type of a hard disk being sold. They responded that this serial number was actually dispatched to a particular individual and it matched with the individual whose laptop it was. And this how it was, the case was solved. We asked for the next hard disk and then whatsoever happened, what happened. So logical reasoning is also a very important part of forensic. It's not that you go by the technical bent of mind and you are just going and trying to analyze things. It's a tedious task. It takes time. There's no time bound for doing analysis as such. But there are live analysis, dynamic analysis, static analysis. It depends. One thing which I want to tell you is the forensic report has to be very precise, clear, in a simple terms, because it has to be produced in the court. Now, one more thing I want to bring in here is the expert witness. Now, expert witness, as per the Indian courts and IT Act, Information Technology Act, there has to be an expert witness. An expert witness is basically who's carried out analysis, who has sufficient knowledge, experience. The court will not allow you to depose as expert witness or will not take your report and scrutinize it unless and until you are qualified as expert witness. So for that, you have to be well qualified, technically qualified. You should be able to answer all the questions. You should have history of doing experience for that matter. Now, one thing which I want to tell you how forensics is gaining importance in India as such. If you must have seen in 2019 BRICS Summit, our Honorable Prime Minister said that he will be holding a digital forensic conference in India, which is a very big thing because of this present lockdown. Maybe not this year, which it was planned to. Maybe in the coming year, they may be, or it might be organized. So I would like to urge all of you to be a part of the process. This is a field which requires a lot of skilled labor, skilled people, and you should be a part of it and try to develop your skill. Before again going ahead, actually I've completed half an hour which was given to me. How much time do I have, Nishita or Anshul? Can you please tell me?
Sir, you have time. And if you would like to continue the session, you can. Or there are some questions that have been posted. If you would like to answer them first.
What in 10 minutes I'll just finish, then we can take questions together.
Sure, sir.
Okay, now let's coming to the most important question since there's a shortage of time as such. What is the capability within our country? Let me be very truthful to the capability. As of now, we have storage media, mobile analyzing capability as such, which is quite sufficient. Very few FSLs are doing it. Means most of the FSLs are doing it, sorry, but other than FSLs, very few people are doing it. But there's a shortage of people within that also. Now, what is actually required? We need capabilities such as JTAG, chip-off, ISP, damaged device recovery, if they are burnt devices, you can say underwater devices, and such things are very much required. So capability building in that is much required. Now coming to me, most of the people ask me, should I be a BTech or an MTech to actually carry out forensics or to this particular field? The answer is clear-cut no. If you have the passion, you can still come in. Why am I saying this no? Yes, we require technical people who are MTech, BTech, and who have some additional knowledge. But there are few job roles such as a incident first responder or a lab assistant, whose task is basically taking the device, photographing it, checking the serial numbers. Lab assistant is actually doing the imaging, cloning, which can be done by any person who understands computer or who has some courses in his, you can say, CV. So there are few job profiles which any person can do. Now, there are some technical job profiles as lab assistant, technical manager, quality manager, which has to be done by technical people. For that, you have to be qualified. And of course, and then only you can depose as an expert witness. So here comes, there are a lot of job profiles. Someday I can speak on the job profile in detail, but let me go ahead. Now, basic things, one more people who are new into it, sir, we don't have tools because they're expensive. Let me tell you, first I'll tell you, selection of tools is based on the skill set. If you actually know that particular tool, output, what output you desire, cost, if it's expensive as an individual, you cannot buy it. Only you can say the government or you can say the private labs can buy it. And also the focus and other things. So tools are very important in doing analysis. But let me tell you, there are many, you can say free tools. For imaging, if you want to go, there are many free tools. For live forensics, there are many free tools. Means if you have to take a random analysis, if you want to do the analysis of the images, there are frameworks like SleuthKit, Autopsy, which is there. There are SANS frameworks which are there, which are free of cost. You can use it, so you don't have to have a commercial tool as such. So you can still carry out. Yes, there's a problem when you do mobile forensics because their commercial tools are required because support to a particular make model is required. But there are plethora of tools in it. Lastly, let me tell you one thing here. Usually people wants to excel in all the subfields within the digital forensics. Please don't go in that manner. You select a particular field within the subfield within digital forensics. Like if you want to do expertise in say storage media or mobile forensics or cloud or IoT or a particular something else, please do in a particular field because you cannot excel in everything. That's the mistake which most of the people do, or nowadays everyone wants to do everything. So you can do storage media and mobile, but then you may know other sub fields, but you cannot master in that. So you should know everything. You should know things how they are done, but you cannot excel in all the things. So systematically, step by step, of course, you can go after learning this two, you can go to the third one. So many things which can be developed and which can be done. Now there are many institutions which are there which give you courses. I need not say you can just Google it. Two things I want to tell you before I just wind up, which are very important as per me. I always recommend please find a mentor. In any field you should have a mentor who will guide you to do right things and you can actually streamline your career. Otherwise, it is very difficult in the field of like such as digital forensics to actually find your own way. It's like a tunnel, dark tunnel with many roads. So you have to find a mentor who will guide you and tell you what to do, what not to do. Secondly, take internship. Even if you are qualified, no one will give you a job if you don't have proper internship, if you have not worked on live cases. So even if it's you have to do free of cost, if you don't get paid for an internship, it's still recommend you go for an internship. Otherwise, it's not there. And some side thing we should do simultaneously is write articles, voice your opinion, go to conference, speak, comment. However stupid a comment is, however stupid a question is, ask. Then only you can go to this field. Now, forensics cannot be covered in an hour or so. It takes days to cover. So I just wanted to give a primer or just to motivate you or inspire you. This is a field you can come into. And since Anshul was a good friend of mine, or this he requested me, I made it a point to address you all. I'll still take a few questions, whatever they are there. And even if questions are not answered, I'm available on my LinkedIn profile or on some other. You can just Google my name and you'll find it. I'll answer there also. But we'll take some questions. Yeah, Nishida?
By the way, sir, you have time till 1:30. If there is something else you would still like to mention, or I can just move on to the questions.
I can mention a lot of things. Okay, let me touch two more things. You mentioned people come and ask me, especially students, say, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs in this field? But let me tell you, cybersecurity as I call it a domain, and forensics as a niche field within that cybersecurity subdomain, you can call it within that particular field. Yes, first there were no jobs except for the FSLs and you can say somewhere. But nowadays you have people wanting every multinational, every company has an incident response team, and every incident response team has a cyber forensic professional associated with it. Not only that, nowadays, apart from the incident team, people are having the independent forensic teams within their particular multinational team. There is the scope. You can be a freelancer. You can also, the FSLs which do the analysis go to the court. The accused can ask for a second opinion. They can come to a freelancer and take opinion and you can do the analysis. For people like the newcomers, there are jobs, profiles as consultants, as freelancers which are coming with government. You can just pick up a profile, walk to the nearest cyber police station and tell them, I'm this. They might require service. There are many calls which we get from somewhere from someone from Chennai, some from Simphal, from different corners of the country. They say, there's no one around us. Although they are qualified people, but people don't know you are there. So you have to be seen in the community. You have to be a part of the community. You have to ask questions. You have to take questions. You have to upgrade yourself. There has to be continuity training. So there are a lot of jobs in this. And let me tell you, this is a well-paid job, but you should not look for money. It's more of satisfaction and you can say interest and passion, which I always say, which should be there with you. So this is very important. And you can see that there are a lot of, you can say, people, I'm not speaking of integrators who sell tools, forensic tools. I'm saying core forensic people who do analysis. They should be able to sit, work. You can analyze in your own system. You can do a lot of things on your thing. If you have any problems regarding, you can say, which tool to use, how to go about it. That's why I say a mentor should be there. So there are a lot of things. You can have your private lab. Maybe in the near future, government may approve that private lab which can go to the courts, which is there under 79 Alpha of the IT Act. So a lot of things are there. Now, one more thing is that you should also know how much time do I spend on a particular thing, particular case, because it is, as I said, it is a never-ending thing. So you should know a lot of things, and it will only come with experience. Only come with experience. So I recommend please go for internships, and it's the most important things which you should do. There are a lot of publications now coming up for digital forensic within India also. There are a lot of groups, communities coming up. So be a part of that, contribute to that. That's how you can learn. At this age and service, we also look like people, youngsters like you, to learn something like technology coming up. I'll end up with a case study. Last week only, we are doing a case. One of the best forensic tools, we were able to do the physical extraction of a mobile device. Means even the deleted data, everything was extracted. But surprisingly, we were not able to get the chat contents. Now we knew that that particular chat or particular application existed. We could see it, but we could not extract the content, or we could not. I mean to say, we could not know where it is. Suddenly, after doing some research, we found that there is a hidden partition nowadays which comes with every OS on a mobile. It was in the hidden partition. We used different techniques, of course, but we were able to extract that data. But now, since the technology is changing, now hidden partitions coming up, swap space, some space, hidden space. If you see SSD solid state devices, which is a topic in itself, I can speak someday in very length how it's changing the whole, or how it is a challenge to the forensic community. There are more challenges than solutions which are presently available. So you have to be there. You have to be there with a problem, with a solution, and find out. I think I'll end it there. I'll take questions. Yeah, Mishika.
That was obviously extremely informative. The first question that we have is from Tarush Arora. He has asked that what's the difference between cyber forensics and security?
As I told you, that's why I said cyber security is a bigger umbrella. Forensics is a smaller part of it. It's a sub part of it, and a very niche part of it. You can niche, when I say it is a very less known or less approached or less ventured for that. When you say cyber security, it's more of a defensive. You are speaking of, say, defending the network, like a system administrator, or there are many more fields like a SOC analyst or something like that. In forensics, you are actually getting into the systems, finding the digital trail, showing, or you can say you are trying to tell it how incident happened, and what was the, you can say, modus operandi, how it happened. So it's a total different thing. Actually, they are two different things. Cyber security is a different thing, and forensic analysis is a different thing. But you can say that cyber security as a domain, if you see, forensics is a very small niche field under it. There are many others. You can go audit, risk compliance, vulnerability analysis, penetration testing. There are n numbers of fields within the cyber infosec or cybersecurity domain. Charush, I hope I have answered the question.
Thank you. So the next question is from Prishita Dhinta. Even though these questions have already been answered in the start of the session, but I'll just rephrase them. So she wanted to know about how to pursue the career further, like she has just started, and she wanted some guidelines on how they should do. And Tarush has written another question in a similar domain, that please tell us the roadmap to pursue career in cyber or digital forensics and cybersecurity.
Okay. Now let me tell you first thing which I've been suggesting: find a mentor. If you have a mentor, he'll guide you what to do, whatever you qualify. And second most important thing is complete your graduation. You have to a BTech, minimum a BTech or MTech. Don't go for the profile. There are profiles even if a MSc or normal computer graduate can do. But if you are into a technical field, you have more scope. of doing much better in this particular statistical forensics field. So also other than that, I have always been saying when there are summers or vacations, if you are in engineering, do summer internships or some internships with the nearest, you can say cyber cell or FSL or some, you can say freelancer who is doing it. So that is one thing. Other than that, you have to do courses. Courses are important because these are basically gate passes if you want to actually get a job. So courses also simultaneously have to be done, but you have to select the course, and who will tell you which is the best course? Again, it falls back to the mentor, the person who knows his field very well. You cannot master all the fields. I've seen people doing CH, CHFI, then they want to do CISSP, then they want to do some audit course, they want to do anything and everything under the sun, which is not possible. So if you want to do forensics, find a mentor, do some courses related to operating system, related to forensics, CHFI, it can be some other forensic course, SIDAC, Trivandrum offers some courses, indigenous courses are there, some do hands-on, some conferences have some workshops related to forensics. So this is actually the roadmap. And once you get in, once you are completing the graduation, as I said, don't look for a paid internship. You might not get it. Even if you don't get a paid internship, it's better you do it even if free of cost. Learning, you're getting free education, free knowledge. No one will give you, and you will not get hands on the real cases. So this is where how you can go about it. If any further questions, they can just drop to me anytime. I'll answer the questions.
Sure, sir. So should I ask the rest questions, or we can just ask the audience?
You can ask the questions. I have another 10 minutes. You can, if you want to ask questions, I'm done with it.
Yeah, sure. I'll just name all the questions to you, and you can summarize the answer then. So, Deepak Sarkar has asked that is heat map reliable all the time? And the other questions are what is data carving, and what proactive measures can one take which would help in the investigations of cyber crimes?
See, the heat map is reliable, but let me tell you, everything is done in correlation with something else. As I said, when I when I phrased the sentence, I said heat map with timeline analysis, right? So at that moment of time, the clock which is in there, so it is reliable, but it is always in correlation with something. And let me tell you one thing: if you find some evidence in a particular device, any evidence for that matter, it has to be substantiated. Means means it has to be substantiated in another way. And I also told you one thing, that your report is you can say it assesses the investigating officer for his furthering the investigation. So that is one. After knowing from the heat map this is the time frame or this is the location, he can question that particular accused what is the means he can go ahead. So yes, is there. Now what is the next question? Sorry, I just
data carving.
Yeah, data carving is basically means okay. There is a pool of data. Within the data, means there's you are actually trying to carve or get out a particular file or a document. Like if you are doing manual analysis, there's a pool of, you can say, ones and zeros in that. But if you know where that file starts or the file signature, and you know where it ends, you can actually copy that only that particular content and reconstruct that particular file. So you're actually creating that file. This is basically required. If they are full files, it's totally recovered. But even if they are half files, like half overwritten also, carving is a process where you can extract the half files also, and actually it can assist you in your investigation if someone has done deletion or someone has done some overwriting or the file no more exists. So carving is a process actually getting out, you can say, what you require from a pool of, bigger pool of data.
And the last two questions are first, what proactive measures can be taken to help the investigations of cybercrime? And one is just that there's a student who is in BSc for forensic science, and he is wondering that should he only take an internship that has been offered by the government, or is any internship in the field of FSL okay if even if it's by a private company?
Firstly, any internship is okay. There's no doubts with it. But if you get a government FSL internship, I recommend that because you'll get a number of cases to experience will improve, right? You'll get a number of cases to which you can lay your hands on, and it will be a good learning also. Of course, private labs also have number of cases, so it's one and the same. You need not worry. You should have an internship. That's more important. You learn a lot from the internship, from the mentors, from the people who are working in the labs.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the last question was, what are the proactive measures that can help investigate cyber crimes?
See, proactive measures, there are a lot of proactive. First is the awareness. Everyone knows. I'll not speak of awareness because nowadays everyone just gets up and speaks of awareness, although they are right in their whatever they're doing. First is the awareness. Secondly, doing the job properly. As I said, within forensics, if packing is not done, or seizing is not done, or identification is not done, the forensic analyst will not be able to solve that case or not be able to file it. So proactive measures is that in digital forensics, if it's a live forensics, then you can do some, you can say take a rundown, do some analysis, don't switch off the system so that the volatile data doesn't go off. Yeah, but when it comes to the lab, it's more of the reactive measure because the system is already there in place. So that's what I'll say. Proactive. There are a lot of things which are proactive. When the proactive things are in place, then only actually the other things follow within this particular field. I think I've answered this question.
So, thank you so much, sir. It was really nice to have you. I'm sure the audience learned a lot. We are still receiving one or two questions, and so guys, for any more questions, you can connect with sir through LinkedIn. You can just search for Mr. Santosh, and you will find all his links. And I'm sure sir would love to help you out. There is just one more question, if you would be like to answer.
Yeah, please.
So this is, what are the basic skills required to get a job in this field?
Okay.
I think this question was answered in the start of the session, but just to summarize.
Yes. I'll just tell the basic skills. As I said, firstly, there should be a passion in you and patience. I always refer this. People say, why do you say that? Because it's a tedious job. Interesting is not something like James Bond that you get a case and you solve it, but it's quite interesting. So you should have this two qualities. And secondly, knowledge is always very important. It's required, right? So you should have the knowledge about the device oblique the operating system you are working on, because without that you cannot solve a particular case. And other skill sets which are required is you can say continuity of training. Then you require you should be knowing the technology which is taking place, technological changes which are taking place, and all these things are very, very important to actually carry out or do forensic. Skill sets are many, but technically, I've said you require a skill set, but also what I want to say is that you should also be legally sound. This is one skill set which people actually avoid. Reason is they think that if I'm a technically sound, I'm okay in forensics, but you have to be legally sound to actually carry out forensic, because your reports depends on that. Your explanation to the courts report on that. So if you're doing technical thing, I recommend you should do a forensic course or legal course also on cyber laws, or something which will help you in actually, it will ease your task. That's what I'll say. I've done anything.
No, that was all. Thank you so much again, sir.
I've just put my text on the chat. People can go through that. So, text Thank you. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So now, next up, we will be having Mr. Amandeep Nagpal, the Associate Dean from Lovely Professional University. He is an IT professional with a rich experience of over 19 years in teaching and academic administration, a systematic education imparting knowledge And he has been doing this, and he believes in this, that is an ideal way to help students design path-breaking systems in computing and information technology. So it is quite an honor to have you with us, sir. I would now like to invite sir to the platform to start the session. Thank you so much for being here today. Amandeep, sir. By the time sir is getting ready, if any of you have any more questions, you can leave them in the chat. We will answer them as soon as we can. And like sir has said, he has left his contact details, and you can also find his contact details through LinkedIn. And if you have any more questions, you can contact him via that. You can also send your questions to us on thehackerstalk.com. And if you have any incident or vulnerability that you would like to report, you can do so by visiting thehackerstalk.com and then going to the knowledge base, and then you can report an incident or a vulnerability. Also, so like we said, Global Infosec is all that we will try to cover as much as we can about cybersecurity on a general level, so that it helps you become professionals and it helps you in your life. Of course, it's a wide field. We cannot cover everything in an hour, but we really hope that we're able to help you learn something new. We are able to induce interest in all of you, and we really look forward to our next session. And like I said, you can drop your questions in the live chat. We'll be answering them as soon as we can. So I'm sure most of you must have subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you are subscribed so that you are connected to all the latest content that we post. We talk a lot about, and in the future also, we'll be heading more towards more cybersecurity issues and how you can protect yourself. It won't just be news. We already do that in all our news articles. We will help you and guide you through the process how you can save yourselves from attacks, and we'll try to help you as much as we can. And when you report an incident or vulnerability on the website, we will take care of it for you. So I hope that you are all safely browsing the internet and you are protecting yourself as much as you can. As already talked, we have a video on cyber hygiene, and I hope that you all follow that cyber hygiene on a regular basis, because it is extremely important that you take care where you are putting the information, and most importantly, that you have an idea about it. Like if you have to talk about most recently, it was discovered, it's not recent, but it has been started doing the rounds in the news recently, that Facebook has been storing your data off Facebook. Now, a lot of confusion has been that it has been recording data from your phone. One example for this would be that no, it's not exactly recording off-campus data from your phone. So currently we are facing a lot of issues online because of the data that you share, and you want that privacy. So like I said, in case of Facebook, what you can do is just search for off Facebook activity, and you will find all that connection to everything, like all the activity that you've done on Facebook, all the apps that you've connected with Facebook, all messages that you have sent, all the contacts that you have synced. So if you wish that Facebook should not have this data, you can choose to download that data and then delete it, or you can simply clear the entire history. Facebook does have the right to collect that data, but it is in no way collecting any data in which you have not connected Facebook. For example, to simplify this, say you have been using Facebook and you downloaded an app and it asks for a login. If you use Facebook as a login, it has all the rights to share your data with that app corresponding to the privacy policies of both the apps, that is Facebook and the app that you're using, be it a game app or any other app that has been there. So if, like I said, you wish to not share as much data, and you want to protect your privacy, and you think that this isn't something you're comfortable with, you can of course go on your settings and change it. This is one of the ways. This is what is called awareness. You should know how much data you're sharing, where you're sharing, and what exactly is happening with your data. If you're not aware about this, you will fall victim to a lot of things. Like, why is so much cybercrime increasing during these lockdown times? Also, before I answer that, our next session will be at 2 p.m. With Sunana ma'am. So stay tuned, and you can beef up all your questions and you can put them in the chat, and ma'am will start that session. But by the time, so as I was talking about awareness, the fact that you know what is happening, or what you do not have to particularly know what might happen. As long as you know what exactly it is that you're doing online, you are protected. As long as you know that you're visiting secure websites, as long as you know that you can trust the people, or you can trust the server that you're uploading your data on, you are safe. So first of all, the biggest step is to be aware of everything that's going on. Now, the second question that I asked, why is so much problems that have been increasing and cyber crimes that have been increasing during lockdown? This is happening because everything has been communicating through phones and emails. So it's hard for people to distinguish, and a lot of new apps and websites and payment links are coming up. So it is extremely hard for people to distinguish which one is the real one and which one is fake. So they fall into all of these scams, and then they end up suffering a lot for that. So what you can do in this is, say you wanted to reset your password, and you will receive a link for that. Now that is a safe link, because when you're clicking to reset password on your phone, instantly you'll receive a link on your email account. You click on that and you reset. But say you open after a long time, or even if you're checking regularly, you just suddenly received an email saying that you have a job for you, just click on this link. If you do not trust that website, if you do not have an account there, if you have no idea how would they know about this, do not click on that link. Until and unless you're absolutely sure what is happening and why it is happening, you should definitely not click on that link. Now, there's a lot more that we can talk, but it is amazing to listen about these things from cybersecurity professionals, and it is an honor to have a lot of them with us today. And after this, I would actually like to invite Mr. Anshul Pandey from UNAC Technologies to speak a little bit just about awareness, and how can someone who's just starting off in the field can take the steps, and how they can keep themselves safe in this environment. So stay tuned, and whatever questions you have for this, you can put them up in the chat. So we have Mr. Anshul Pandey today from UNAC Technologies. He is a cybersecurity professional with years of experience, and he has been performing excellently in his field. He also has a session later on in the other days, and I'm sure that you will benefit a lot from this. So I would now request Sir to share a little bit about what a beginner can do for the field of cybersecurity, and how just on a regular level, like the people who aren't so much into technology are the ones who usually suffer a lot, because they get really confused about what they should and what they shouldn't do. So what can you tell to the general population, or what can our educated population tell to others, so that they can be safe and they can protect their data and be safe online?
Cool. So first of all, thank you, Nistha, for such an wonderful introduction about me. So when we talk about cyber security, I think Santosh sir has given a well explanation on this topic. That it is very vast area. Absolutely. When we talk about cyber security, there's an n number of things which is there, from web VAPT to networks to forensics to threat intel to every damn thing. So first of all, we need to understand that which is the best for us. So for the beginners, for the beginners, if they want to explore in this area, first of all, they need to start from networking, because networking is a basic step or the first or fundamental steps towards cybersecurity. If you understand, I'm not talking about the detail of that networking. If you understand the bit of networking, that the basic step of that, it means you can do wonders into the cybersecurity field. You need to understand what is the networking, what is the IP, what is the subnetting. I mean, the basics part of the networking. If your fundamental is clear with the networking, then you can jump to the web, and then you can understand the web at some of a good level. For the web, you need to understand the front end and the back end. I'm not talking about the programming languages. I'm talking about the VAPT part. If you can understand the web VAPT, that is the OWASP top 10 attack. OWASP top 10 attack is a backbone of web security or the web VAPT. If you can understand those things, you can make your own control list, or you can work on a control list. And if you can create the control list, then you can then you can move to the network VAPT. And for understanding a network VAPT, you require the major understanding of the network. You need to be very skilled enough in various operating systems. That can be the Kali Linux, that can be the Parrot, that can be the Mint, or maybe you need to understand. See, why a professional doesn't prefer that Windows operating system, because when we go with the Windows operating system, the basic fundamental about Windows operating system, we consider this as a tool. We consider Windows as a software. We doesn't consider this as an operating system, because when we talk about Linux, each and everything, whatever are running in Linux, it runs with a certain commands. We consider that as a program. If you can understand certain thing in a Linux part, you can manipulate that program. You can manipulate that the entire command, and you can work and you can explore that thing according to you. That is a major thing whenever a professional choose a Linux. Everything is open source there, and when it's come to the Windows, each and everything is automated. The best experience which you can ever have while driving a car, if you can start driving a car with a manual drive, if you'll get a car with automated side, you cannot enjoy, because everything is automated. What do you just need to click and everything. I mean, everything is automated. You cannot enjoy that feeling. You cannot get that feeling. But whenever you are just going and learning a car with a manual thing, it can give you a much bigger experience than an automated one. And that's the reason we prefer Linux. There's a number of tools which is available into the Linux when it's come to the VAPT part of web, network, forensic, or anything. So you can start learning from that thing from a Linux. So first of all, you need to have a understanding about networking. The second thing is the Linux, and third thing is, if you want to explore on which area. If you want to explore in a web, then you need to understand a web VAPT. That is the first step, and then you can go to the network. And yes, like Sir said, digital forensics. This is the best area which you can ever choose. In this area, you need to understand one thing, that is, if you're talking about a digital forensics, then you need to have an understanding about the entire infrastructure, the entire gadgets, every damn thing. If you can get the knowledge about that thing, then only you can explore with the digital forensics. The basic questions which people used to ask, that from where we can learn about those things. See, If you're thinking you want to explore this thing with a YouTube, absolutely wrong. If you're thinking you can watch certain video and you can be a cybersecurity professional, then it's absolutely wrong. For understanding a cybersecurity or any of a part of cybersecurity, you need to have a good mentor. So Santosh has given an amazing point on those part, that you need to have a good mentor, you need to go with a good training, and then you need to go with a good intention. And if you got one mentor, then you need to explore the entire thing with a practical oriented training. First of all, the basic requirement, the fundamental requirement of a cybersecurity profession, that you belong from a technical field. If you're not from a technical field, then this is not a place where you can. Because the basic fundamentals which is required is that you need to understand the technology. And absolutely, if I talk about the BCA, MCA, BTech, all of those people, they are much more experienced than anyone else when it's come to a technology. So the basic agenda of this is that you need one mentor, you need a good practical training, and after getting this entire thing, you need to explore yourself with a practical examination. That is something which is 100% required. And for understanding this entire thing, you need to go with a good curriculum. And after this, in my session, when I will be coming live in this Global Infosec on Tuesday with Rahul Tyagi sir, and we will be sharing n number of details that how you can go with and what the major certification which you should do, and every damn things, in cybersecurity industry. Clear? So my topic will be majorly on exploitation, that how you can exploit a firmware in this, and each and everything in a networking domain, and we'll give you the major in and out on those. Yeah. So if anybody has any question, they can ask. And meanwhile, I think we will be starting a session with Sunana Kanogia ma'am. So she's a OSD in post-graduation diploma in cybersecurity. So we will be going with that, and she will be giving you how you can work in this, how academic is actually working when it's come to cybersecurity, and how they are creating a cyber warrior in this. So that is something which is very, very important, because right now, most of academics is going with some of the basics, minor subjects of cybersecurity. But there's a certain initiative which Delhi University has taken, that is post-graduation diploma in cybersecurity, and ma'am is OSD of that. And there's multiple things, which in which university is working when it's come to the cybersecurity. So you can ask those questions to ma'am. So I think I'm done with my part. Nistha, over to you, or anybody who has any questions, they can ask those questions here.
Yeah, before we go on to the questions, it would be nice for the audience to know where this idea for the conference, the webinar started. Like, what led to the Global Infosec Summit?
Cool. So when I was in college, the first Global Infosec we have done when I was in college, that was in year 2016 approx. So at that time, I have taken that initiative of Global Infosec, and in that conference, I have invited one ministry, Amar Prasad Reddy. He was a director of national cybersecurity, and so currently he's advisory of Ministry of Education. And yesterday also I had one conversation with him that, sir, is it possible that you can come in this? So he said that I'm quite busy with the Corona thing, and we are taking a number of initiatives, and maybe later on he will join in one of our webinar. So at that time we have taken this initiative to make people aware about this cybersecurity. And after certain time, after my job, I have taken initiative of UNAC Technologies. And the hacker talk was something where we wanted to work on. Because right now there is not much player in cybersecurity industry, and when it's come to the news portal, when it's come to the delivers of the news, there's not much player. And with that, I have related this Global Infosec, because Global Infosec is something, when we talk about the cybersecurity, we want a professional to talk about the topics. We want a digital forensics professional to talk about the one who is working on this. So when it's come to the real cases, of everything, they are the one who is working on this. They are the one who is booming this industry with their own part, and they are the one who are working in and out with these cases. If they will talk about the digital forensics, if they will talk about the academic, if they will talk about the network, if they will talk about a web, then you guys will, the people will get to know about these things on a major basis. If I will be the one who will be talking about each and every topic, the people will get confused that how is that possible that we can relate with the real life scenario? And that's the reason we have created this as a platform that people will come and they will talk about those topics, which is something which everybody wants to know. When it's come to cyber fraud cases, I think we all should be on that place that we have seen the major cyber fraud cases. We all get one call that we want certain detail about your credit card or a debit card, and we know that they are the cyber fraud, but we don't know that who are the people who are working for this in a cyber fraud cases. When we see certain news that is ransomware, who are the one who is doing investigation about those ransomware? When we talk about the security of web, then we absolutely know that web is a platform, web is a website where we used to do in and out each and everything. But is there any people who is taking a security of that web? When we talk about a transaction, so each and every people is using Phone Pay, Google Pay, or a number of things. It's not very simple. So the developers is doing a lot of things while developing that platform. But a people like us who is doing every damn thing so that transaction which goes from one mobile, one account to another goes in a secure manner. There's not much player in cybersecurity industry, but the people who are here, they're doing wonders and wonders in this field. And from there, I started to take this initiative to make people aware about all of those things, whatever is going on in this technology. When it terms come to the cybersecurity, there is a name like the Hacker Talk, like Global Infosec, like UNAP should come in a front.
Okay, thank you so much, Anshul. So we have a few questions. We'll just start off with. So this one question is from Aditya Maurya, who's asking which academy should we join for cybersecurity, and he's asking if they will give CEH certificate.
Cool. So Aditya, first of all, your question is similar, like which coaching I should join for getting a good marks in 9th. So I think each and every people has completed their schooling and they have joined certain coaching. But do you really think that coaching help in any way possible for getting a good marks? Absolutely not. So first of all, you should join a company. You should join a school, right? Just by going a coaching, you cannot understand anything. So first of all, you should join some cybersecurity company who is working on all of those things and they are giving certain trainings. Clear? So it's not at all compulsory that you go with a coaching and you will get anything. Absolutely, you will get, because here we are talking about a practical knowledge, right? Practical knowledge is something which is absolutely possible when that company is working with the multiple cases when it's come to the cybersecurity industry, when it's come to cybersecurity. So there's a UNAC also, which is absolutely going with a training as well as, they're dealing with a training as well as with the services part, who is providing certain services in various to various companies when it comes to cybersecurity, or they are the one who provides investigation as well. And I'm CEO of that. Okay, so you can join that. And when it's come to CH certification, CH, see, if you really want to do anything into cybersecurity, I recommend you to go with a certification known as OSCP. That is Offensive Certified Security Professional. So one thing, why? Because the content which they are having, that is amazing one. And the examination which they used to take, that is something which which you guys will love it. Why? Because they deals with the practical examination and they deals with the practical training. So the examination and everything is 100% practical. So if you want to do anything into the cybersecurity industry, you need to understand a practical oriented training and practical examination. Yes, CH is well-known certification, but when it's come to examination pattern, they offer the MCQ-based examination. Sorry, this is not my question to a CH, but the content which they are delivering is a good one, but the certification is absolutely I'll not recommend. But if you want to go with the OSCP, it's the best one. Or if you want to go with any of a certification which deals with the practical oriented training and the practical examination, that is something where you can do anything in cybersecurity. So find a right mentor, find a right thing. And for the training, if you want to go, you can talk to the UNAC people. Yeah, yep.
So, by the way, if anyone wants elaboration on offensive security groups, you can also Google them, and there is also a US forum which conducts conferences regularly. So you can attend them, and of course, you can contact UNAC Technologies for the same. Hope you stay connected. You can find the links in the description as well.
Sure.
So the next question is it's related to digital forensic. Deepaj Sarkar has asked, I'm from BSc Forensic Science background. Can I go for digital forensic?
Absolutely. See, if you're a forensics background, so you're the best one to adopt this thing, right? Because you have already studied some of the points in forensics, right? There's a major subjects which you have already studied. So you can go with this thing, but I'm not sure that from which place you have taken that BSc Forensics and what are things which you have already completed. So if you want, you can talk to certain professionals in this field, or you can directly contact me in a LinkedIn. I'll give you certain points which you can cover into the forensics part. And the first thing for the forensics is, like I said, for the first thing about cybersecurity is networking. And when it's come to forensics, you need to understand that on which forensics you want to go. Because when it's come to digital forensics, it's also on a 3-part. The first one is mobile, the second one is system, and third one is the infra. We usually say it's a network. Clear? And each and everything deal with the signatures. So each and everything deal with the real-time monitoring and everything. So what you can do, you can start certain things on that part that where you are good at. Yeah, if you want to go with the mobile forensics, mobile digital forensics, so there you can explore. And see, one thing, please make sure, digital forensics and cyber forensics, these are two different areas. When it comes to digital forensics, it covers all three aspects. And when it comes to cyber forensics is having certain relation with the law. You need to understand IT Act at very deep level. If you can understand IT Act, then only you are allowed to enter into the cyber forensics part. Yeah, so you should be understanding that on which area, which section will be working. And if you can understand all of those things, then only you can enter into the cyber forensics part.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anshul. Now it's about to be time for our next speaker. And Sunaina Kanoja ma'am is an esteemed speaker, and we are so happy to have her with us. Before we start the session, I would just like to give a little bit of introduction about her. And if you have any friends or family who would be interested to know a little bit more about cybersecurity, you can ask them all to join us. The session will start at 2. And about the speaker, so Sunaina Kanoja ma'am did her BCom from Kamala Nehru College and MCom from Department of Commerce, University of Delhi, and South Delhi campus. She obtained her MPhil and PhD degree from Department of Commerce, Delhi School of Economics. She has been awarded with Junior Research Fellowship from UGC in 2005. She has co-authored a book and a couple of articles in journals of repute and attended about a dozen national and international conferences. She's presently supervising MPhil research in the area of finance. Her area of interest includes corporate governance, corporate laws, industrial laws, and investment management. She has visited Mauritius under the UGC-TEC consortium agreement to deliver a series of lectures at the Faculty of Law and Management, University of Mauritius. She's a life member of Indian Commerce Association and member of Editorial Advisory Board of Envision, an international journal of commerce and management. And she joined the University of Delhi as a lecturer in 2005. So I'm sure all of you would be having multiple questions in this domain as well. So you can keep your questions ready and you can keep posting them on the chat. You can ask your friends to join in so that a lot of people can have the chance to ask these questions personally and live with her. You can also connect with all of our speakers on LinkedIn, and I am sure that if you had registered through the link and you are attending the session, you will also get a certificate of participation. And we really hope that this session happens to be extremely helpful to you. And just an information, we will not be having any session tomorrow because it's Sunday. And as for the speakers who will be coming for day after tomorrow, it's a surprise. So stay tuned with us. By the time, again, you can check out our other videos and articles, and you can learn a lot about ransomware and recent attacks. Like, I'll just give you one article. I don't know if you've heard about this, but you may have seen the huge attack that Cognizant faced, the Maze ransomware attack. Now it's also getting phishing phones. So I would just like to talk about phishing a little because it's one of the basic things that happens on an everyday basis. What happens is, and even you might do it without realizing it, and you should know that it is a crime. So phishing is when you present yourself as a reputable source, or you misrepresent yourself as if someone from another company or any other source or website, and you try to get sensitive information. Huge example, especially coming to the phone phishing, is how a lot of people get calls asking them to share their bank details and OTPs, and for which you have been advised multiple times not to do that. And still people fall prey to that. So I hope that this does not happen, and you obviously learn to how to conduct yourself online, how to be sure that you are not sharing too much of data and your security and privacy has not been compromised. And okay, I would like to question, okay, if Anshul is online, there is a question for you that which language should we learn for cybersecurity? So I would answer this in detail, but Aditya, just for reference, you do not need to know any language in particular for cybersecurity because coding isn't really involved. But yes, a little bit of knowledge for software is required. And now over to Anshul for this question.
So cool, ma'am. Thank you so much for another question. So what happens when, so what his name? His name is Aditya.
Aditya Maurya.
Okay. Yes, Aditya. First of all, when we talk about certain language which is required, like I said, you want to be a cybersecurity professional. You don't want to be a coder, right? So for understanding a cybersecurity, you need to understand the minors of the coding. It's not that you should be a geek in a coding, and absolutely, you require the basic aspect of a coding. You can start from C. I think C is more than anything when it comes to the cybersecurity, because you can make a payload, you can do anything with a C, and C is not just for A plus B, that you are just doing A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20, and you are just adding a number. With a C, you can write entire payloads. So payload is something which help in exploitation part. And the same thing, first of all, payload is good when it's come to the C language. C is when I think you guys must be knowing PUBG, right? The entire PUBG were coded in C language. I don't know that you don't know this thing or not, but this entire PUBG is something which is coded in a C language, so you can understand the C language is more than enough for every damn thing. And if you understand, if you have a command on any language, then you can understand any language at a very deep level. So if you can understand a C, then you can understand a Java, C++, or maybe Python, Perl, or everything. Because there's certain syntax which is changed in multiple languages, and the rest everything is same. Clear? So if you want to explore something, start from very basics. And when it comes to cybersecurity, you don't require a major understanding on any language. If you understand the basic of a programming language, that's more than enough. That's more than enough. Yes.
Thank you so much, Anshul.
Welcome, ma'am.
So we will look at some other questions. So it's 1:47, and ma'am will join with us. Okay, so the question, next question is, can I learn Python 3.8? From Aditya again.
Absolutely. So Python is the best language which you can ever explore, because if you understand a Python, you can do wonders in a cybersecurity. Yeah. So Python is a certain language in which AI. I mean, there is something which helps in AI, ML, cybersecurity, and everything. So you can start learning a Python, and if you understand a Python, it's a good one, right? So you can learn, because no one is stopping you to learn anything. Okay. So absolutely, you can start learning that, and like I said, if you are very basic, or if you are just a beginner in cybersecurity industry, then you can start from networking. Understand the networks, then move to any other programming language. If you can have a good command over the network, you can do a good thing in every damn platform of cybersecurity. Either it's come to the web, network, forensics, or anything.
Thank you so much, Anshul, for that answer. So we can see that a lot of people have quite a lot of questions, and we are happy to answer all of them. And I would like to remind you to subscribe to the channel, hit a like and share, so that we can help others as well. And you can share this information with them. We do have live question and answer sessions quite regularly. We did one almost like a week ago, and we received so many questions, and we tried to answer almost all of them. So if you're connected with us, we can clear your doubts. And as Anshul said, you can also connect with us through LinkedIn and all the other speakers that are here. And yeah, so Sunana ma'am will join in the next 5 minutes. And Anshul, we have another question from Aditya. He's asking about the basic syllabus of networking.
Cool. So one thing, if you want to explore the networking part, the basic syllabus, which I'll say, that first of all, you should have an understanding of 5 major aspects of networking. The first is the ports. You should be clear with each and everything about a ports, that on which protocol that ports works. And the second thing which you need to understand is the protocol. You should have a major understanding about each and every protocol, because if just try to understand with a layman example. If you want to go to the if you want to go and explore about something, so you need to follow certain protocols. So each and every data which flows from one place to another, it follows certain protocol. So you must be doing HTTP, HTTPS, SSL, SMTP, or everything. You need to understand that protocol. You need to understand its port. You need to understand the major thing about networking, that is IP address. IP address plays very important role in the networking part. You need to understand what is the MAC IP, what is the public IP, what's a private IP. You won't believe that that if I want to if I don't want that someone should access internet in that area, we just block one of a public IP in that area, and that's it. The entire people who are using that internet, it goes it goes off, and nobody is allowed to use that internet on that area. The strongest point about networking is an IP address. Then subnetting, then the then a term comes that is something known as NAT. You must be knowing what is NAT, how NAT works, and all of those things. So port, protocol, IP address, and subnetting. These are the major parts, and there's some minor parts which you can go with. That is the IP. That is the NAT. So which is very important aspects in that technology. And just whenever you are doing all of those things, just try to go with a certain command, that how these things are working with the command side. And if you can understand all of those things, it's more than enough. Cool. And whenever you are starting a cybersecurity, you need to understand one thing, that is the information gathering. Try to use certain tools, gather the informations, and once you will have a good command over the information gathering, then you can move to the VAPT part. It goes with the same. It is same in a web, network, forensic, and everything. Because in each and every place you want information, you need to have good information for the attack purposes. Yeah. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I can see quite a few people have joined. So I would like to talk about our next speaker, Sunaina ma'am. So Sunaina Kanuja ma'am did her BCom from Kamala Nehru College 2002 and MCom from Department of Commerce, University of Delhi, South Delhi campus in 2004. And she obtained her MPhil and PhD degree from Department of Commerce, Delhi School of Economics. She has been awarded with Junior Research Fellowship from UGC in 2005. She has co-authored a book and a couple of articles in journals of repute and attended about a dozen national and international conferences. She is presently supervising MPhil research in the area of finance. Her area of interest includes corporate governance, corporate laws, industrial laws, and investment management. She has visited Mauritius under the UGC TEC Consortium Agreement to deliver a series of lectures at the Faculty of Law and Management, University of Mauritius. She's also a life member of Indian Commerce Association and member of Editorial Advisory Board of Envision, an international journal of commerce and management. And she joined University of Delhi as a lecturer in 2005. So I'm sure you all must be having a lot of questions in the finance domain as well. That like cybersecurity has a huge role when it comes to finance. There's banks. How can you trust your data and a lot of questions that would come to your mind in this, and you can prepare your questions and you can send them to us through the live chat or connect with them online. So here's an interesting fact for you. I'm sure you all must have heard about cryptocurrency. So it's an interesting topic related to money online. And here's a fun task for you. If you don't know about this, try to read about the history of cryptocurrency and why it was like how Bitcoin started and what happened. I'm sure that you know that a few years back when Bitcoin started, no one really believed in it, but some people actually did, and they mined a lot of Bitcoins, and then the stocks just rose, and after a while it fell. So it would be nice for all of you to know that and to know a little bit about the market. It helps to know stuff in different domains. And if you're interested to get trained in cybersecurity, you can contact UNAC Technologies. If you are interested to know more about all the latest news in the field of cybersecurity and attacks and vulnerabilities, you can visit thehackerstalk.com. We also have our Instagram and Facebook handles with the same name. So be sure to connect with us on all of the platforms so you are well aware about what live sessions we do, what webinars we do, and any other offers that we have for you. it is always better to know about things that can protect you more in any field. So it's nicer to connect. And so we have a new question. There's a student who is doing BSc in forensic science from Amity, and she would like to go for masters in cyber forensics. So the question is to you, Anshul. If you would please tell that what pre-knowledge should she take with her. Her name is Prishita.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So should I repeat the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So Prishita Dhingra has asked that she's pursuing BSc in forensic science from Amity, and she would like to go for masters in cyber forensics. So would you please tell her what pre-knowledge she should take with her?
Sure. So I think Sunana ma'am will be here within a moment, and she will explain how you can enter into the academics and you can do anything about into the cybersecurity, because she is heading post-graduation diploma in cybersecurity. But just to make you understand about those part, that if you want to deal with the forensics part, then if you're understanding the basic of, I think you have already done a BSc, right? So if you want to go with the cyber security into the and if you want to deal with the cyber security or a forensics into the master, first of all you need to go with a certain internship. So at least you should understand the entire thing practically, and first of all explore this area before entering to the masters. Write certain research paper, that how write certain case study, that how those things works in the current industry, and each and everything. Make sure that you have already attained those knowledge, then only you are allowed to then only you can enter into the masters. And the prerequisites or the certain skills which is required, then you should have a good understanding where certain subjects, when it's come to the forensics one, that is that is forensics, mobile forensics, or maybe you can understand that is the system hardening, or maybe a system forensics, and the entire things. So unless you don't have a knowledge about those things on a practical manner, then it's not a good thing that you have already completed BSc and you want to go with the. So in forensics also, if you want to work with certain MNCs, so that is another case. And if you want to do certain research over the forensics, that is also in another case. If you want to do certain research over the into the forensics, then what you can do, start studying certain research paper, that how, on which cases, how they have worked, and what are the things which they have taken certain, what are the precautions, or what are the things which they have taken into the point while dealing with the certain cases. And if you have already explored those things, then you can write your own article, then you can start writing your own research paper, and you can do anything over the research part. But when it's come to the tool oriented thing, then you need to understand that how forensics work in the manual side, and then you can go with the certain tools. I cannot take a name of multiple tools here, because it's not allowed, because if you will directly download certain tools from the internet, and if you will start working on those things, then it will create a problem for you. So I cannot take a name of those tools here. But maybe if you want certain help from my side, you can directly message me over the LinkedIn, or maybe my social media handle. I'll reply on that. Okay. So thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. So, like Sir said, we will soon be joined by ma'am, and you can keep posting your questions and queries, and stay online, and we will take all the queries for you. So by the time that we have some free time, I can see that most of our viewers do have more than average knowledge about cybersecurity. But I'll just share something very basic for you to protect yourself online now that we're here. So I hope that you've noticed that some websites have an extension of HTTP and some have an extension of HTTPS. So this is very basic, and this is why I will advise you that you should, on an average, almost never visit an HTTP website. And why would I say that? So the difference between HTTP and HTTPS is that the websites that are hosted on HTTP are they send the data through plain text. Like if you are able to get into those and if you are able to hack into that communication, you will receive the data as it is, as a plain text, and you can directly like get all that data, and there is no security. But if you choose an HTTPS website, even if you are able to get into the communication, the data will be encrypted. Now, encryption is something which is very important in cryptography because we want our data to be encrypted so that, say, if I am sick, it's like code language that you would want to change your data and enhance it in a way like you must have seen a lot of questions in aptitude papers that if a word, say Nishtha, is written as HHIJK, say, in a certain language, how would the hacker's talk be spelled? So this is one of the ways of encryption, and this is what in some way guarantees the fact that your data won't directly be stolen. Of course, the data can still be decrypted, but if the encryption is strong, and it still takes time because the encryptions are usually good. The HTTPS websites have an SSL certificate, and they try to make sure that their encryptions are very, very hard to crack. And it usually is, because you can imagine a random sequence of ways that you can use to encrypt your data and then decrypt, and no one would know about it. So that guarantees you that you are and your data is safe on the internet. And like we already mentioned in the start, that you shouldn't really visit a lot of unsecured websites. And like our first speaker talked about digital forensics, I am sure that may have spiked a lot of interest in you. So again, we'll say you can research a little bit about it as much as you can, just to pre-knowledge, but do not rely on YouTube and the internet for information on cybersecurity. If you really want to have a career in this and you want to get ahead with this, you should definitely take up some kind of training or internship, and you should visit places where you can have live training, because unless you are having live training, it's not something that you can excel in by just knowing the theory about. And as sir very nicely mentioned, that even if you are a professional and you are getting some kind of even if you are a professional and you want to shift to cybersecurity, you should still start with taking an internship, even if it's unpaid. And when you're doing that, of course, make sure that it's a reputable source like the Unique Technologies. And we also have other companies that you can try to be a part of. So as you can see on the screen, this is the Hackers Talk website, thehackerstalk.com. Here you will see all our latest posts and articles. And it is a pleasure that we have just been joined by Dr. Sunaina Kanosia. Welcome, ma'am. The viewers have been eagerly waiting for this session, and we are so happy to be joined by you. And we cannot wait to hear your views.
Thanks, Nishtha. Thanks for an humble invite. And thanks to Anshul also for connecting to the students and other members of Unique Technology. And as always, as I have known Anshul, he has been very keen for organizing such events earlier offline. Now, because of the COVID-19 scenario, he is not way behind to put up things online. So that's really great for an organization having a leader with full of zeal and zest. And I hope that the students are also having a view of all the challenges which are being faced today because of this pandemic, and how we can bring solutions. Perhaps, Nisha, can you tell me who are, I mean, what is the demographic of our audience? I mean, they are students or they are
Yeah, ma'am.
practitioners?
They're mostly students, and I'm so sorry for the interruption. So they're mostly students. Some of them have like just started and they want to get into cyber security. Some are BTech students, some are master students, but yeah, mostly all of them are students with just a basic knowledge of cybersecurity, and some are willing to, like, they wanna generate an interest in them. So they're considering whether or not cybersecurity is a field to take up on in the future.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And so it's good that people are having interest and inclination in this field. Though I have not, perhaps the person who has completed her in cybersecurity, but somehow I hail from a financial background, but I felt in Delhi that without cybersecurity and the framework chains, actually fintech cannot work for a larger extent. So that was the key point when we started at Delhi School of Economics some 7 years back, in early 2013, to have a course on cybersecurities. Perhaps that was a basic course of cyber platforms and protecting e-businesses. So, if we think of cybersecurity from different perspective, I would today preferably talk about like how you can penetrate in this field and what could be your probable aspects, which I think I have come to know from students from different companies who are working in the domain of cybersecurity. And while running a course which Delhi University run, and I'm heading that Institute of Cybersecurity and Law in Delhi University. You can check the details on ICSL, Institute of Cybersecurity and Law, at icsl.du.ac.in. So, primarily, the students who want to pursue their careers in cybersecurity, I have found that they are really going to have a larger domain of expertise and services which are required. So when I say that, I mean because we have seen data which shows that we are presently having 1/10 or even less than that of the strength of cyber professionals who can protect the businesses and individual life as well on the cyberspace. So definitely, cybersecurity is a promising field for the careers of today's generation, because suddenly we have seen a shift from brick and mortar format to online format or digital space. Despite of the fact that we were having our presence earlier, but the kind of reliance on digital platforms we are seeing today, like the one we are using today, uh, is unprecedented. So once we were having a conference where it was suggested that only cyber warfare will require such kind of a scenario, that the people who are trained in cybersecurity as either ethical hackers or as cybersecurity professional or administrators, they will be having a key role to play. So similarly, today we we are facing a similar situation where we have to be present digitally, but there are a lot of other opportunities which lies on digital platform, as well as there are a lot of challenges. And if you think about from where they emerge from the basic mindset of people. So Nishta, can you tell me how much time I have?
Yeah, ma'am, you have plenty of time. You have time till it's right now. It's 2:11. You have about 20 minutes.
Okay, thanks a lot. So let me start with some kind of nuances which we see in the present scenario, which actually leads to maybe some of the easier hacks, because the mindset of the people who are using the cyberspace is so that the people become vulnerable, and the hackers or the people who want to take who want to take advantage of others get a leeway. Some of the basic things which I saw was like, when we do a shopping online, there are certain websites which mandate us to store our card details, and it's not those kind of website which we rarely visit or use. It's one of the largest portal. You might have seen Amazon. So unless you don't add your account details or debit card or credit card, you cannot actually initiate or make the payment without adding your card, which should not be there perhaps, because as a as a as an intentional background of people who are managing the platform, it shows that they don't want to leave any space of indecisiveness. We call it to convert a sale in management domain, that to convert sales at a larger number, you create such an environment that there is no point of leaving a sale transaction in between. So they do it to facilitate a higher level of to facilitate higher number of sales executive transactions executed in a particular time span. So they have actually, the websites have actually mandated it to store the card details. Now, seeing this today's scenario of COVID-19, or looking at different theories that whether it is man-made or it is coming from a laboratory, we cannot actually state confidently, conclusively, that the data which is taken by one of the most reliable or widely used platform like Amazon is safe. Whether they are using GDPR to protect or to store the data which they have taken up, how strong is their cybersecurity platform when it comes to the card details, whether they are using pseudonymization or not, or just a good hacker is what is required to have Amazon also come into news that their data has been hacked. So, which should not be a case or scenario, because that's perhaps a company which is, or a platform rather, which is being widely trusted. I'm not talking it about their trust factor, what it was 10 years back. In the last 10 years, Amazon or similar platforms have gained trust. If you recollect your memories 10 years down the line, we used to order online, but we used to pay offline. That is, most of the orders, if you see the data as well, were cash on delivery. But somehow the platforms have earned the trust by delivering on time, giving services, then exchanges, no question asked service, and so on. So they have really come a far at a far new level, or at a higher level from where they started. And we foresee in the early 2020, when Jeff Bezos was here in India, they predicted that they will be going to have business of more than $200 billion, but with such a small glitch, right? That you are asking it as a mandatory option. How many times we will remember to remove our card details after completing an or executing a transaction? And then it is also used at several different points. If you use a membership through your Prime membership, Amazon, then your TV is also having the same kind of configuration. And most of the televisions which are made prior to 2013 or 14, though they are semi-smart, televisions or HD screens, but they are not equipped well to handle the data. So my concern is primarily that, see, when augmentation increases, definitely in cyberspace, the level of expertise required to hold it in positive environment also increases. Because if there are 10 people who are working uh, on an advantageous side of cybersecurity, there are 20 at least who are working on the disadvantageous side. And you really don't need 20 people to destroy something. One is sufficient. And the example is here. We can see that mistake of one particular country in containing the contagion effect of a virus is being paid by the cost is being paid by the rest of the world. So, and when we say it in a simple one sentence, it's not only rest of the world. There are billions of people how their lives have changed. Right now, we are sitting in a comfort zone. In our comfort zone, we have facilities to, we may even prolong this particular lockdown for another month or so. But there are many people who are actually not having those kind of physical resources or other resources to stay like this. There will be an end for them in a near future, but there are some blessed ones who can actually try to do something or try to make an environment which can facilitate uh, certain advantages for the weaker section of the society. So when we talk about from the cybersecurity, from financial perspective of an organization, and largely to the consequences on the whole society, on the whole world, then it becomes a larger span to see what we are doing. It may sound a little abstract that what we are doing in cyberspace on one particular website or a company's cybersecurity, how it is going to affect or impact the credentials, bottom line or top line of a company. Okay, you can still think that there will be less pilferages in the company. The company is going to handle its data securely, so it will have more brand value, more subscriber, and so on. So they will increase their top line and bottom lines, and that will help their numbers and they will grow. But how does it matter, and how does it actually related with the social cause or with the larger cause of being here as a people on the planet? So being a student or being an aspirant of cyberspace and um, digitally equipped students, they all know and they have read many times things which have been written by the iPhone founder uh, when he was having his last days. So there is a purpose of this life, and perhaps being in uncertainty, you get to realize that why am I, surviving? Why I'm not the one who is not in contact of COVID-19, or why the God has given me this birth. If you can enable a single person in your life for a better human being, for becoming a better human being, that means you have done something really great, really great. Earning for yourself, buying clothes, buying facilities, cars, this, that. This is all we are doing for ourselves, our own comfort. But enabling someone else is the real thing, which is going to make the next level of world. Suppose today, whatever you are having, would not have been there if people or predecessors, our predecessor, have not think about like that. So we actually need to find out that how companies are actually performing, how companies were actually performing earlier in the brick and mortar style, how they have transformed their businesses on the cyberspace, what are the basic challenges they are facing, And then comes the role of the cybersecurity professionals, that what are the vulnerabilities which the companies are suddenly exposed to because of coming on this space, cyberspace, and how cyber professionals can help them. So when a cyber professional help a organization or say a particular domain or protect a particular service, then they are actually protecting a lot of people who are attached to that company, right? When I say so, it means that if you are protecting a cyber environment of an organization and you protect the data of that organization is definitely going to grow. But with the organization, the people who are attached with it are definitely going to have a better future tomorrow. So whenever you are doing a work which wherein you are actually interested, you should find some social cause or a cause which is above financial parameters. That will be a very optimistic approach to follow a profession. And if you find yourself into that mode that you can contribute to that particular notion or cause, then perhaps you are into the right career zone. If suppose you are into cybersecurity because you have think or you have heard that people really get paid well, and that's all you want, so there is no harm in it, but there will be an end to it. Why I say so? Because especially in cyberspace, you have to be really ethically strong so that you are not on the other side of the table. So today, when you are in lockdown, how many of you feel, there are many reports coming in that China has actually created this virus and to destruct US economy, or to create some hassles for rest of the countries and create a benefit for themselves. So how many of you think this particular theory is true? And if true, by chance, 1% even, then how do you react for China? Can you place yourself in the shoes of China, that they have done this? If I'm not sure, I have just read some couple of things. I believe that they have not done it intentionally. It's the same thing which they are saying is the truth. But if what? What if I'm 99% wrong? If that 1% which other people are saying is true, that this is a man-made virus which has been floated to gain some financial synergies. Similar is the role of the cyber security professional. You will be tested time and again that, see, we give you a small bounty and you can do certain things which can be done in fraction of minutes or a couple of days maybe, and then things may be a mayhem for rest of the world, but it will be a golden era for you, because you may get paid a huge amount of money or some gifts or some other things and so on. But what you are going to do is going to harm some set of people on the other side of the table. So whenever you think yourself into such scenario, and then if you can find out that no, I will not be standing at any point of time in the shoes of, say, China, or in the shoes of that person who has created harm for others, may what come, right? And still be in this profession of cybersecurity. I'll be an ethical hacker. I'll learn how to find vulnerabilities. I can that is something which actually which actually makes me which actually gives me a boost, which increase my zeal and zest, which fascinates me. And at times I have heard students that cybersecurity is something which I am really into. It gives me adrenaline rush, or different scenarios, because we have been running a course of PGDCSL, postgraduate diploma in cybersecurity and law, but it has certain mandatory courses or papers to be read. So there are many people who come from different backgrounds, who want to join the course, but because the structure of the course, we have no option but to mandate certain papers which they have read earlier and passed. So, despite the fact that they are either from Hindi domain or some are from political science, there are many people from law background, LLB. They say we have read the entire IT Act, we are in the code of law, and we have attended moot courts, we have written cases or cyber laws. So, so we are perfect for this course. But whether you are perfect or not, I'm no one to comment. But there are certain parameters which you can check for yourself that yes, this is somehow what you are going to pursue. This is the one, this is the personality, or this is the future wherein you fit yourself into. And then there are various opportunities which are there when we go for live, when we go for uh, offline and when physical seminars. Then there are different people who say that okay, please check my phone whether it is being compromised or not, or what are the settings I should have. um, so I believe that there is nothing which is not there is nothing which cannot be hacked, right? Based on the notion that every lock has a key, and if it doesn't have, it can be break. It can break, but what you need is a person who knows the skill of breaking that lock. So you might have seen the Hist, uh, Money Heist, the web series, and you saw other different movies where you see people opening big, large, you know, storehouses or safes, and then hacking. That gives you a real positive and zeal. Oh wow, what an interesting work! But see, this interesting work comes with a large amount of responsibility, not only for yourself but for your family, for the society where you are living. So think about it, because definitely cybersecurity professionals are going to be the next generation professionals. There will be a high in demand. Already in existing numbers, they are just less than 1/10 of what is required. And as in and after this COVID-19, and when people will be actually preparing different kind of uh, will be preparing themselves for different kind of uncertainties, then web option would certainly be the something which is going to be there in their minds. And they would like to have some options which are safe. So when they are looking for something which is safe, they will be relying on their own data, they will be relying on their own internal platforms. There are many companies who do not allow still outsiders, but there are many companies who are running on shared basis, and the servers are not that secure. Like if you have your elder brothers or sister working in different large companies, the day they join the company, they get a company's laptop or phone or handset or any other device. It's not that the company loved them, it's just that they have policies of no BODs, no bring your own devices. And perhaps they also want to have the surveillance 24/7 on the communications, especially the written one, and also at times the verbal communications which are done by the employees, so as to stop any kind of privileges. And if the same laptop, iPhone, or any other phone or device is used to surf certain websites which are not safe, then they send emails as a reminder that see, your activity was actually not prescribed, and it creates a threat for the organization, for the organization's data, information, or systems. And it could attempt for a it could be a possible outcome of a probable loss. And if you read the law, section 43A of the Information and Technology Act, that's a crime. that you are creating, facilitating, or abetting something which leads to a hack uh, is a crime, and the penalty is huge. You may have to go for 3 years imprisonment and up to 1 crore of a fine, or both. Or at times there are discussions that because some companies' loss may not be equivalent to 1 crore, so the company may also go and have a larger amount of loss claim from the person. So the person is an individual. He has or she has just joined an organization, got a device, and they may be having a salary of say 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh. Nobody who's a fresher will get 50 lakhs, right? Even if they get 50 lakhs per annum, they may have to pay up to 1 crore rupees of liability or jail, and both. So what I'm trying to say is that the thing of cybersecurity, the enviro of cybersecurity looks very promising, looks very challenging. It's very exciting as well, as if we are, working in raw or something like that, and finding out something which is very intriguing. But it do have, and it carries a lot of responsibility. You have to be strong ethically. You have to take care of people who are on the other side of the board. And there are a lot of such examples which are there in the law. And the best part is, or I would say the worst part is actually not the best. The best for the hackers is it is, but the worst for the general public is that they don't know, that it's a cybercrime. So the kind of advantage cyberspace offers, there are numerous, multiple times of disadvantages, or uh, you know crimes which can originate from cyberspace. So say, for example, if there are 1000 opportunities coming out of it, there are 1000 to the power n opportunity, disadvantages coming out of cyberspace. So, and people are not aware of it. And that's why perhaps cybersecurity professionals are required in the coming future. So at Delhi School of Economics, also in Department of Commerce, where we teach our MBA students that how they have to take up uh, their managerial framework, whether it is concerned with a product or policy or a portal or an e-service, then how they have to look through for its execution uh, from a cyber safe professional. When we say cyberspace safe professional, we are only referring them that how their product is going to be placed, how it will work, and how and what kind of people will be joining it. So basically, policy framework, so that they are not putting something which is easy to hack or easy to contravene the act, which makes it a crime. And when we say it creates challenges or disadvantages of 1000 to the power n, then certainly we mean that uh, there are different kind of crimes which even people don't know, and it's just a matter of pursuing it, right? That how many times as a casual student, or while playing with our friends, we have attempted to peek in their phones, attempted their passwords, blocked their phone, or at times opened their phone, and we said that, see, I can crack the password so very easily, but it is actually a cyber crime. So there are numerous such things. Each section, subsection, and clause can have multifaceted scenarios where you can put yourself behind the bar, or you can be helpful for other people. So hope to join some other time for the detailed discussion. I think it's 2:36. I was having 12 minutes. I have taken 16 minutes. Uh, Nishtha, are you there? Hello. Yeah, Nishtha is. Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, Nishtha.
Is my voice audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am, for the session. It was extremely informative. I think everyone needs to be aware about cyber frauds and law enforcement. And of course, like you talked, it's been peaking at all these times. And thank you so much for giving your time. And all the viewers, if you have any more questions, you can, of course, contact ma'am through LinkedIn. I'm sure she'd be happy to connect with all of our students here. And
Yeah,
thank
sure.
you so much again, ma'am, for being with us
Okay.
today.
Thanks, Nishta. Thanks to Anshul, and best of luck to Eunuch and the students. See you. Bye bye. Stay safe.
Yeah. Thank you so much to all our viewers who were here with us today. Thank you so much for your valuable time. We will be having more sessions. The next one will be day after tomorrow, and it's a surprise who will be on the session. Thank you so much for being here. Bye. Have a good day. Stay in, stay safe. Take care. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our emails